In every area of life, there are winners and losers. But what do you think that makes a winner and a loser? Just think about it. Every pro athlete wants to win at the Olympic Games. But what do you think that separates the mediocre athlete from the world champion? Because they surely have the same goal, but they don't have the same habits. And we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our habits. So, what is actually a habit, and how do we create new and positive ones and destroy bad and old ones? A habit is basically an action which is executed enough times to make it automatic. And so, the first thing to do if you want to create new good habits and destroy old and bad ones would be to actually become aware of your daily habits. That would be sort of a step zero. So making a list of all the habits you have from waking up to going to sleep. And you can also include the habits which you attach to certain situations, which are not done daily, but only in connection with that situations. For example, if you go into the bus, you always take out your phone, for example. And then when you have your list of habits, you just categorize every single habit as positive, that you want to continue doing, as negative, that you just want to eliminate, and as neutral. These are habits that don't do you any harm, but are also not essential. They're just there, and then you can decide to eliminate them or to continue doing them. So how do we actually create a new habit? Following the principles of atomic habits, we should make the habit we want to create as visible as possible, as attractive as possible, as easy as possible, and as satisfying as possible. And now I will go over the 4 steps. So when it comes to making your habit visible, you could actually attach your habit to an old habit, or you could attach your habit to a specific location and time. So for example, you know that you want to work out every single day at the same time and in the same place. So you know that that place and that time is meant for working out. And the thing that I've seen on myself that works the best to make a new habit as visible as possible is to make its cues as visible as possible. So let's say that you want to develop the habit of reading and you have decided that you want to read every single day before going to sleep. So you have attached it to a specific location and time, for example, your bedroom, and also to another habit, so before going to sleep. And now think about what a difference it would do between these 2 following situations. In one situation, the book you want to read is in the shelter in another room, and in the other situation, you have actually placed the book you wanted to read exactly on your bed. So as soon as you look at your bed, you see the book, and you know exactly that before going to bed, you will read. The second thing you want to do is to actually make your habit as attractive as possible. And what do I mean by that? You want to do that thing. So what you could do, for example, is to attach to the good habit you want to create a thing that gives you pleasure. So for example, you could attach to reading, let's take for example reading, 3 minutes or 5 minutes of scrolling on Instagram, for example. Another very effective technique would be to join a interest group or group of friends in which the habit that you want to create is the norm. And I've seen the power of this principle on my life and on the life of my friends. You literally are the average of your 5 closest friends. So use this to your favor. And another thing to make a habit attractive, which works very well, would be to actually think about all the good things that that habit will bring with itself. You want to have the things that it will bring you, and so by thinking about them and giving them value, the habit will actually become more attractive to you. And the third thing you want to be doing is to make your habit as easy and simple as possible. And here there are two main things to consider. You want to make starting your habit actually very, very, very simple and easy. And you also want to make executing your habit as easy as possible. So when it comes to starting your habit, you want to eliminate every single thing that could hinder you or that could create some resistance between you and starting your habit. So for example, we come back to the habit of reading. As we said, you put your book on your bed so that you don't even have to go and walk into the other room. Or you also open the page. I know this may sound crazy, but it works. And so you want to eliminate every single point of friction. You want to make it as smooth as possible. So when it comes to actually executing your habit, you want to make it, at least at the beginning, as easy as possible. So for example, if you wanted to start going to the gym or start working out, just start with a 5 or 10 minutes workout. That's personally how I started working out. But it works because I'm still working out. So at the beginning, you want to limit your habit to about 5 to 10 minutes. So for example, if you want to start reading, just start with 5 or 10 minutes. Then you actually want to make your habit as satisfying as possible. And you do that by basically giving yourself a treat when you complete the habit. You could literally give yourself a material or physical treat, like kind of a reward, or you could actually be proud of yourself, and as soon as you finish the habit, you could actually encourage yourself and be satisfied about yourself. And another thing which I've seen personally has worked very well for me is to track your habits. So you have the habits that you want to create, and every time that you actually do one of those, you tick them off. And what that does is two things. The first thing is that it rewards you. It will be very satisfying to tick the habit off. And the second thing is that it will basically support your new identity. By ticking it off and by seeing how many times you actually did this habit, you will start being the person which does that habit. So you will no more just read, you will become a reader. And if for some reason one day or two you skip a habit, that's not a problem. Don't give up on it just because you skipped it once or twice. Just make sure that it won't happen again. And when it comes to actually breaking a bad and old habit, you want to do the exact opposite. So you want to make it invisible. You want to make it unattractive, very hard, and also very punishing. So if we just take the opposite of what we said about creating a good and new habit, you want to hide all the cues, and you want to hide all the cues that you have about that habit. Then you want to think about all the negative things that will happen to you if you do that habit, and by doing that it will become unattractive. And you actually want to leave friend groups where that habit is actually the norm or the default. Then to make it very hard, you just want to create as much effort as you can possibly think of. There are many ways to do this, but just let your creativity flow and just think about how you could make your habit as hard and effortful as possible. So for example, if you wanted to stop scrolling on Instagram, you could eliminate Instagram and eliminate your account. So if you wanted to go on it, you would actually have to reinstall it and create a new account. And then to make it also very punishing, that's the fourth step, you just want to think about how you could punish yourself for doing that habit. So for example, if you want to stop smoking, every time you smoke a cigarette, you would have to give 5 euros or dollars to your worst enemy, for example. So now you know exactly how to create new and good habits and how to destroy old and bad ones. And so decide today which habits you want to create and which ones you want to eliminate. Just take out pen and paper and start writing the list, as we said before, of all your habits. Then categorize them as positive, negative, and neutral. Then eliminate all the negative ones and start creating the new ones that you want to create. But remember the most important thing: start acting today. Even if you don't do everything today, just start. Because if you don't start today, chances are that you never will. And I hope this video was very helpful for you. If it was, consider subscribing and liking so that you don't miss on future videos and so that other people like you can actually benefit from this information.